Steph here. Today I figured I'd make this really quick video before the sun sets and I have no more light in my apartment. I basically just wanted to answer some of your questions from Instagram because as you can see, there was a lot of questions. Alright, I'm gonna zoom through this real quick, try to go as fast as possible. Yeah, lots of questions. Majority of them were related to basketball. There was 3 specifically that I think were just asked so frequently that I figured I might as well make a whole video about it and kind of talk to you guys and let you know the answers to your questions. So, the 3 questions. A lot of you guys asked about my feet and like the problems that I had when I was born and all that. So I'm gonna talk about that. Question number 2, you asked how I kind of fell in love with basketball and how basketball started, when it started, all that. Question number 3, why I never played high school or college. So here we go. I'm gonna start doing this. I might be checking the camera every now and then because this is like my 3rd time trying to record this video because the camera keeps going out. And yeah, I was kind of check in on it and make sure it's still going so I don't have to redo this at all again. Here we go. Question number 1. You guys want to know about my legs and my feet and all that. So here's the story about my feet. When I was born with clubbed feet and like, it's like a weird condition. I think it was like ballerina legs or something like that. Basically, my whole legs and feet and everything were turned in. So, yeah. I had casts on my feet from when I was born till like 2 or 3 years old. And basically we would go to Shriners Hospital in North Philly, right next to Temple's campus. And every week they would replace the cast. So the night before my parents would cut it off in the bathtub. The next day they would go in, they put a new cast on. This happened for about like 2 or 3 years. Finally, they straightened them. They're pretty straight now. Nobody really, you can't notice it. If you were to see me on the street, you'd never be like, oh, she had clubbed feet. But if you really pay attention, my knees kind of go out more than they're supposed to. And when I run, sometimes I have to like consciously tell myself to straighten my legs, like straighten out my left foot. Because a lot of times, my right foot does a pretty good job of keeping itself straight, but my left foot still has some issues. It likes to kind of go in sometimes. It causes all sorts of alignment issues for me, so messes with my hips, messes with my back. When I was young, I used to have a lot of back pain, a lot of feet pain, obviously, ankle pain. My ankles have always been and will always be super weak. I pretty much always play on a sprained ankle at this point. It kind of is what it is. I don't know. Yeah, my feet are messed up, and that's okay. I never really wanted to ever share this information with people. The way I see it is like, I never wanted anybody to make up an excuse for why I couldn't do something, right? So like, I never wanted someone to be like, oh, well, she couldn't do this because she has this issue, right? So in my head, it was kind of like, oh, I just won't tell people. Very few people currently know about it, but one of my friends kind of encouraged me to talk about it more because they said that it might be something that actually will inspire someone or motivate them, So I figured, here you go, I'll tell you about my feet problems. So basically from when I was once they took off the casts, they told my parents, she's never going to be able to play sports or run or anything like that. My parents were kind of like, no, that's not going to be the case. So they put me into every sport possible. Swimming, basketball, gymnastics, volleyball, basically anything that was indoors, because outdoor sports would have been extremely, extremely difficult for me because it's not even surface. I would have been spraining my feet nonstop if that was the case. They already are spraining nonstop, but apparently the doctor said that would be really bad for me to do. So my parents didn't put me into those sports, but they put me into every indoor sport possible. Yeah, I basically was coming home crying in pain almost every day. It hurt really bad because you gotta, sorry, I have something in my eye. It hurt really bad because you have to understand, like, my feet weren't used to being used, right? They were in casts and they were really weak, and then I wasn't supposed to be able to do anything on them, and I was basically putting a lot of pressure on my feet, running and you know, doing all these different things, athletic things, I guess. So it just wasn't something that my feet were physically made for at this point, right? I remember, like, first grade, I had a gym teacher who would laugh at me all the time because I would just trip over my feet. Like, I would just be like standing there and just fall. And you'd be like, oh, what happened to her? Why'd you fall? It was just like normal because my feet just couldn't handle it. I would come, like, I had like vivid memories of trying to just move from like one couch to another couch and just crying because it hurt so bad. But yeah, I guess I just never let that stop me. To this day, my ankles are always sprained. Like, I don't really remember the last time I've played and not had a sprained ankle. Like, yeah, it's just not something that happens for me. It just depends on the degree of sprain. So like my everyday regular sprained foot, like, is probably like an average person's like real sprained foot, you know, like a normal one that actually hurts them, right? But I'm so used to it that it doesn't really bother me, I guess, at this point. It's more of like it's almost like an aching pain to me rather than like a sharp pain. But when I really sprain it, when it's bad, that's when I go and like get it checked and everything. But typically, like, if you see me tighten up my shoe or something, it probably means that it's starting to bother me, and I'm just in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, if I tighten it, maybe it just stop hurting. But usually the adrenaline keeps me going, so, you know, it works out. But typically, like, as soon as I take off my shoes when I'm done playing, it all hits me, and usually I'm in like a good amount of pain. Yeah, I do what I can. One thing that I kind of like pride myself on is not allowing things to stop me from being able to do something. So I think like a big part of why I appreciate being able to do all this, and, you know, like having a channel or, you know, an Instagram page where I do basketball, is like, for me, it's like I was never supposed to be able to do this, and I'm doing it, you know. And so I'm proud of myself for just being able to do it. Like, I think a lot of people are always like, oh yeah, I want to be, you know, a professional athlete, I want to do this, I want that. Like, that's cool and all, like, you know, go ahead, do what you want to do. But like, for me, the success is just being able to like play. Just be able to play against guys and, you know, do well, I think, you know. That's already cool for me. So actually having people appreciate it and follow me and subscribe to me and watch me and support me and everything, like that's like icing. Like that's unreal to me. You know, like, that's not something that I look at and take lightly. Like, that means a lot to me because I know where I started, and to see where I've been able to come from there is something that is really cool. So appreciate you guys. I'm gonna check this camera real quick to make sure it's still running. All right, cool. We're still going. All right, I'm gonna move on to question number 2. Hopefully that answered your question. I had all these problems with my feet. I still have been playing. I still, like, you know, try to overcome all those problems. If you guys need motivation, just look at me. Hopefully that motivates you guys to be able to do the things that you want to do, because honestly, I full-heartedly believe that you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. You just have to put in the work. Like, it might be harder for you, but it doesn't matter. If you really want something, you'll make it happen. And I really think that you guys should try to make things happen that you want in life. So, next question, moving on. Question number 2. You guys asked me where my love for basketball came and like how it started and when it started and all that. So I kind of already answered when it started and like how it started. When it was when I was like 4 or 5. My parents put me into all the sports, including basketball. But you know, at that point it was more just like a necessity. Like, here, you have to do this. But over time, you know, the love for it really grew. Another thing you guys should probably know about me is I'm foreign. So my parents came to the U.S. 2 months before I was born. And, you know, surprise, 2 months later I'm born and I have all these feet problems. And I'm like, oh, cool, we don't know what to do. But, you know, my parents, I have really, really good parents. I'm like so thankful for the parents that I have, you know. Maybe they're a little crazy, maybe they're really strict, maybe whatever the case is. But they really did everything to make sure that I, you know, would have a good life. So they came over and my dad was working on a farm, cleaning up after animals, taking like every job he could get. My mom was cleaning houses. She started working at a preschool so she could take care of me and work at the same time. So, you know, my parents really like did whatever they could do. And at some point when I was little, we started our own business. So I basically was either working with them or I was by myself, or my mom would drop me off at the basketball courts and I would just play basketball. And I guess that's where it started. Like, I became a gym rat. I loved being on the basketball court. Let me grab my basketball. I loved being on the basketball court. It was just kind of me and my ball at all times. And like, this is kind of hard to talk about, but you know, I never really had a lot of friends. I was always kind of that like weird foreign girl because the area I grew up, well, it was pretty cookie cutter, you know. There wasn't much diversity. People didn't really like foreign people, I guess. They didn't really like anything that was different from them. Yeah, I just didn't really fit very well. Never really had a lot of friends or any friends, to be honest with you. And the only thing I really had was basketball. So like, that was kind of my thing. It was the only place that I felt good. I remember like my dad always like kind of poking at me. Don't get me wrong, he's super supportive, but he would always be like, you know, and why do you still play basketball? Because he knew how much it hurt. Like, he knew how much pain it put me through, and he knew how many like injuries I was getting from it, and how it was like constantly putting me through like pain, you know, through hurt. And he would always be like, why are you still playing? You know, you're not gonna go to be WNBA or anything, so why are you still doing it? And the thing for me is like, it really was the only thing that made me feel good. Being on a court, like, if you're a ball, you probably know what I mean by this, but like, being on a court, especially like an empty court and just sitting there, like, I don't know why, but it's the best feeling in the world. You know, I would just go and just sit at half court and just sometimes lay on the ground and just sit with my ball and just be there. And it was the only thing I needed. Like, I didn't need anything else. That was something that made me so happy. So yeah, like, that's kind of where the love came, I guess. And then 4th grade, I started playing like pickup, I guess, at recess with all the guys. So that's kind of when I became a little tomboy. My thought process at that time was, oh look, there's little boys playing basketball. I love basketball. I want to play basketball. So I have to look like a little boy to play basketball with them. So I started wearing, you know, my long shorts and my tank top, like not the girl tight ones, like the loose boy tank tops. And I would just go and play basketball with them every day at recess. And I loved it. Like, it was just so much fun for me. And I don't know, full circle, you know, to this day, now I'm playing with boys on the street with strangers, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Basketball was kind of that thing that I always loved and that I always had. And that was kind of like always something I could turn to. Because I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, I don't do anything like that. So you know, it was kind of my only outlet. And yeah, another deep moment with Stephania. Question number 3. Alright, this is, you guys want to know why I never played high school or college. I have a couple of reasons, I guess. The first reason, for one, I tore my MCL right when I got to high school. After that, I got swine flu, stomach ulcers, double pneumonia where both my lungs were 2/3 filled, kidney infection, and a chest infection. And so obviously I was very sick that year. And I don't know, like I think I partly blamed it on basketball. I was like, okay, well, you know, like when I tore my MCL, I figured that probably like weakened my immune system. And then after that, I was in a brand new high school, because the way my high school system worked was we started at 10th grade instead of 9th grade. And so I'm in a brand new high school, you know, probably tons of new germs, all that. And I guess it just, you know, I kept getting sick and sick and sick. But yeah, I don't know. There was just something about it, I didn't want to play anymore. I felt betrayed, honestly. I really felt betrayed because I felt like basketball was like the one thing I had, and then I felt like it just turned against me. And I know that sounds so funny, like, because basketball's like not like a person or anything, but I just felt like basketball like turned against me. Like it tried to pull me down, and it hurt, honestly. Like I just couldn't stand playing anymore. To just be real with you guys. And then on top of that, like, I guess the second reason why I stopped was, like I said earlier, I never really had friends. And that kind of trickled over a lot into basketball as well. When I played on the Philly teams, like when I played AAU and I was like playing with girls from Philly, and you know, there's like cultured girls or foreign girls or ethnic girls or, you know, minorities or whatever it was, like people that had something to them, you know, a little bit of spice to them or something like different about them. Like when I played with them, I felt good because I felt like I fit there, you know, but when I played around the girls from my high school, I never felt like I fit. And it just got to a point where I started feeling like I didn't feel good going to basketball practice anymore. Sorry I can't talk, by the way, guys. Like, I feel like I've tried to talk so much during this video that my mouth is just not working anymore. Pause. But yeah. I just didn't feel like I fit anymore. I didn't feel like I had a place on that team. I started feeling bad. Like, I would get anxious before going to basketball because every time I would go, it would remind me that, like, I didn't fit there, and, you know, the girls didn't really like me. They didn't really treat me really nicely. I constantly felt like I was being talked bad about. It had nothing to do with basketball. Honestly, like, the problem was it had nothing to do with basketball. It was all, like, a social thing, and it just made me not want to be around it. And considering the fact that, like, basketball had always been something that was my outlet, like something that was supposed to make me feel good, and it was no longer making me feel good, and I never really planned on becoming, like, a WNBA player or, like, playing basketball for real at any point. So, like, to have that, you know, to have it not make me feel good anymore, and then to also have, like, know that I'm not trying to do anything wrong with it, it just made no sense for me to continue, if that makes sense. So I just stopped. Like, it was like, all right, it's time to stop this because it's no longer benefiting me, it's hurting me. So yeah, that's kind of why I stopped playing. Obviously, you know, I started again at some point. The way that my college gym was set up. So when I stopped, I picked up MMA, okay, mixed martial arts fighting. And that's kind of, my thought process there was like, okay, well, I need to do something, I have to be active. So I'm either going to do MMA or hip hop dancing. I went with MMA because there was a studio, like a gym nearby my place, my house. And when I got to college, I stopped doing MMA, and the way that my college gym was set up was you walk up this flight of steps, and when you get to the top of the steps, there's the basketball court. and you have to go around this corner to get to the gym. So every day I was going in there and seeing the basketball court. And when I say I was itching, like I was fiending, guys. I needed to play again. So, you know, at some point I gave in. I went and bought a new pair of basketball shoes because I hadn't had one for a very long time at that point. Got a pair of Nike Kobe 9 Elite high tops, the extra high ones, you know. I started playing again, and then at some point I started making videos, and then hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Like honestly, I never thought that this was something that I was going to be doing. You know, people have asked me to play since, but I don't know, like I don't think that's really my path. I like making these videos, I think it's fun, but I want to stick to doing basketball as something I love rather than trying to turn it into something like trying to join a league or join a team or something where I stop loving it again. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for showing me all this support and, you know, for allowing me to even do something like this. It's a really cool feeling for me, especially knowing where I came from, like I said earlier. But yeah, if you guys like this video, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Ask me any questions in the comments below. Yeah, I get really nervous about making these types of videos. Like I've made so many like talking videos, but I never post them because I feel like why would you guys want to listen to me talk? But if you guys like this, please let me know because I'll make more, I guess, if you want me to. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you. Bye. Bye.